What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB. Sorry that this video is a little bit late. This is Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season number 4. It's episode 11 and it's titled, Can I Get a Witness? Hey, that reminds me of that Kurt Franklin song, Stomp. Stomp. Alright, so, sorry that sorry the video is late. I was out doing some stuff that took me a little bit longer than what I expected it to take. But here now. And Claus, that video will be up later tomorrow. Well, today is Monday, so it'll be up later this afternoon when I wake up. Don't have work this week, so it'll be up. So without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and just get right into tonight's episode. All right, so we're gonna start the episode with the stuff that was pretty small. So we'll start with Candace. So this episode actually started 4 hours after the hoedown. So we see Candace and she and her mom. They are they're at their shared place, and Candace is talking to her mom about the therapy session with Dr. Kim. So from the therapy session, Dr. Kim wanted them to do a contract. So I guess the contract is like a contract about what one will stop and what the other one will stop, so they can kind of meet in a middle ground, common area. But from what you could see, Mama, that evil Dorothy, she did not want to do anything because Ken's like, well, he wants you to stop with the faces. Well, I can't really stop with that. She said, stop with the jabs. She can't stop with the jabs. She said, stop analyzing me because I'm not one of your clients or your patients. Well, I always have my therapist hat on. That woman is something else, like, for real. Like, I swear to God, I wonder how many patients she has coming off of this season of Real Housewives of Potomac, because it's not a good look for her. Like, I would not want her as my doctor. Like, I just would not trust her. And after seeing her, I'd be like, bitch, you got your own issues, and here you are wanting to help me with my issues? Like, what kind of bullshit is that? Like, I know we're not all perfect human beings and everything, but damn. Don't get on TV and showcase your huge ass flaws that you got. Now, before I move on, I want to talk about each and every, like, these new confessional looks. I like Candace's outfit, but the wig, you could literally tell that it was a wig because you could kind of see it lifting at the top, and I'm like, what the fuck? I wanted to like Karen's outfit because I liked the short hair on Karen, but I think it should have been styled differently. It didn't look right, and then whatever this feathery shit was she had on wasn't flattering at all. But the worst of them all, actually the two worst of them all, would be Giselle. You guys see Giselle's look? Like, look at that. Her hair right there is flat as fuck. And then the next worst to me, what the fuck is that? That makeup, the hair, the everything. I think Ashley, looking at Ashley, I believe she might have been pregnant at this time. Yeah, because her face looked a little full. So I'm thinking Ashley might have been pregnant. But damn. Shit is just ugly as fuck, man. Alright, so we're going to move on. So next we're going to move over to the most interesting... Oh shit, it's still recording. Fuck. Alright, so next we're going to move over to Robin. So, Robin's scene is going to be short as fuck. So we see Robin. Robin is getting her hair done by her hairdresser. And it actually did look nice. I really did like her hair. And, she's talking about this damn house, how she's over budget, how she didn't know she had to put it on, do an open house. And I'm like, well, how did you expect to sell the fucking house in the first place? Like, what were you going to do? Just put a listing in the newspaper and hope and pray that somebody saw it? Like, bitch, you got to do an open house. Like, you got to let people come and see the house to see if they want the house. Like, what the fuck was she... Robin don't know what the fuck she's doing. So then while she's sitting there talking to her hairdresser, she's talking about how Juan wants a girl and how, with their first two kids, Carter and... I can't remember what the other one's name is. Juan wasn't present. And I'm like, well, why wasn't he very present? I mean, I know he was in the NBA, but why wasn't he present again? But he wants to be more present in the little girl's life. So she's like, wait. Y'all want to have a kid? So what about y'all's situation? She's like, well, I want to get married. I'm like, oh God. Okay, so for season 5, if she comes back, please, for the love of God, at least let them be married or be pregnant. One of the fucking two. Cause I'm tired of this. Oh, me and Juan don't know what our relationship is, and I'm so sick of that bullshit. Robin, we have been doing this shit for 4 fucking years. 4 years. It's time for a new storyline. Just like with Kirk and Rashida in Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Time for a new storyline. Please. Alright, so next we gonna talk about Monique. So, we see Monique, she, Chris, and the kids, they are going to get a 3D sonogram of baby Chase. And, Chris tells Monique that he was not very happy with her telling Candace that she would drag her pregnant and all. And I understand why Chris would feel that way. Because if this was a different situation or a different show, Love and Hip Hop, for example, about something would have been thrown at her. So I definitely understand where Chris is coming from. You put yourself in harm's way. You put yourself in a bad position. Although, like I said, we know with this show, nothing's gonna happen that we know of. So I definitely get where he's coming from. So then we also see that Candace and Karen are there as well, to partake in, she's actually not revealing the gender of the baby, but I mean, if you don't, I mean, we already know that she had a little boy. His name is Chase. Um, Karen's like, when I was pregnant, I did not invite my good girlfriends to come and, see my sonogram. Well, yeah, Karen, you're a little bit older than Monique is. And I think Monique, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Monique's family is out in Jersey. So, you guys are the closest thing she has to family besides Chris. If I'm not mistaken, I think her family's in Jersey. Um, so then, afterwards, Karen talks to, she wants to talk to Karen wants to talk to Candace and Monique. And she's like, oh, like a mother? She said, no, like a big sister, basically. And what Karen was telling them is, she wasn't really happy, ooh, shit, with the way things happened at the what was it, you guys? The hoedown. And they were like, yeah, we weren't either. And so looks like Monique and Candace had a conversation with each other via text, and they apologized to each other. So then Karen tells Candace that she feels like the issues with her mom is oozing over into her relationship with her friends, which 100% true. And the reason why I say it's true is because Candace goes after the ladies because she can't say the stuff to her mom. But like I said before last week, she can say the stuff to her mama. It's just you have to say it in a respectful way. You have to be respectful with what you say and how you say it. But you can still you can still check your mama. Like, I don't know why she doesn't feel like she can't check her mom, but she can. So we're gonna move on, you guys. All right, so next we got Giselle. So Giselle's out with her daughters and they are picking apples. Now kids keep telling her mama, these apples are rotten, and every one of them, they did look bad. I'm like, where the fuck did y'all go? So, so they did find look like they found some green apples that were pretty good and ripe. So, she sits them down and she's talking about how she's excited about this house. And then, the girls are the girls are telling her how they, what they're going through, what they're feeling. One of her daughters, I can't remember what the baby's name is, Angel. So Angel feels like, when it comes down to her twin sister and her other sister, Grace, that Giselle plays favoritism with them. And she was like, okay, so if y'all were to rate me, like, what would y'all rate me? Grace and the other sister said 100. And I think not Ashley, but Angel, I think she said like 75 or something like that. And she was like, so, those girls read the shit out of her every fucking time. Like, yo, and they're very, very smart girls. Obviously, I don't know. Oh God. They look like Jamal, but, I don't know which parent they take after. Probably neither. They might take after a grandparent and not Giselle's daddy. Cause these girls don't even seem anything like Giselle at all. Nothing like her. Nothing like her. Cause they read the shit out of her. And, she's talking about how Grace is, not Aunt Grace, but Angel is kind of reserved like she is. I'm like, you must don't know what the word reserved means, Giselle, huh? Because you're not reserved at all. So then we see another scene where she and Angel, they're out having some alone time. And, Angel's just telling her how she feels like Giselle plays favoritism because, she doesn't ask her how, she doesn't check on her as much as she checks on the other two. And Giselle tells her the reason why she doesn't check on her as much is because she knows, how she is and that, she's not going to put herself in anything that she has to check her about. And she likes that about her. I think, you might not, I don't know. You might not have to check in if you don't, even if you know she's the type that you don't have to check in on her. Just just talk to her and say, "Hey, how's your day? How's this going? Da 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 da." Just have small talk with her, I guess you would say, just to make her feel, like she's not the outsider. And then she was like, "Do we have to always do stuff outside? Can we do it indoors?" So it seems like she's an indoors type. And, you can do some mommy-daughter stuff inside and have fun with her. So we're going to move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So next up is Ashley. Now, before we get into Ashley, I want to read this tweet that Katie put out. Oh, shit. She put it out on July 16th, which was my birthday. Damn. Thank you for the birthday gift, Katie. So, on July 16th, my birthday again, Katie took to her Instagram. Oh, she took to her Instagram page and slammed Ashley for her comments. So, she said, "I just watched a video on Bravo TV. Guess it was one of the after show breakdowns on hashtag Real Housewives of Potomac. Anyway, Ashley Darby was sitting there, feet up, talking shit about my magnificent property, Sunny Hill Farm. A property, by the way, I bought at 27 years old for $1 million with my own hard-earned modeling money, none of which involved banging an 80-year-old. Shade." So, Katie said, "I've kept my mouth shut about her, but honestly, how can a woman who grew up in squalor, literally grew up on welfare and being kicked out of homes all her life, think that her crown fits well enough to talk shit about me and mine?" She said, "I'm all for people having a comeuppance, but don't front like you are something you are not. The abusive digs at other women just to cover for sexual misbehavior from your husband. The nastiness, the running for cover, using a pregnancy to shield yourself is not cool. Ew. People who know her vicious, people who know her, people who know how vicious her mouth and behavior are, no, it's not cool. Watch your mouth, girl. Katie, Katie, Katie." Damn. Hashtag Katie Ross, hashtag the Katie Factor, and hashtag Real Housewives of Potomac. Man, Katie read the dog shit out of Ashley, and I was here for it. So, now that we got that out the way, we're going to go ahead and talk about Ashley. So, we see Ashley at the now closed Oz. And, she says that through this time that her and Michael have gotten closer to one another. Well, of course you've gotten closer to one another when you have an arrangement. You can't get mad about an arrangement that you have, my dear. It's like, come on. Let's be real. You guys have an arrangement. Michael fucks you, and he likes a little dick on the side, or ass, whichever one. No one's judging Michael for what he likes. And if that is what it is, Ashley, that's fine. No judgment. Little judgment. And it's not even little judgment, but not on Michael's part. It's on you, my dear. You. And the reason why I'm going to say a little bit of judgment is because you went so hard for the other women. You went so hard at Robin. You went so hard at Monique last season. You went so hard at Karen last season. So that is the only reason why I say a little bit of judgment, because you've done it to other people. But when the roosters come home to, or is it the hens? We gonna stop at the metaphor because I'm gonna fuck it up. But when it's all said and done, you did it to other people. Karma's a bitch. As Karen said, karma is a bitch. It is. You getting your comeuppance. so to speak. So we see Giselle on messy ass. So she goes over to Oz. She says she's checking up on Ashley. I'm like, no, you're not checking up on Ashley. You're being messy as the fuck. So, you know, Ashley's talking about how she and Michael are getting ready to go out on a date, and she's like, we about to get in because she's ovulating. TMI. So then Giselle asks her like, what is, Giselle's like, well, when people ask me questions about what's going on between Michael, like, what do I say? She says, you don't say anything. You tell them, let Ashley talk about it when Ashley's ready to talk about it. That's bullshit, Ashley. Because like I said, you were leading you were right there with Giselle and Robin last season leading the charge against Karen when she had that issue, when Ray had the issues with the taxes, not Karen. But now that, it's something with Michael, you don't want to fucking talk about it. I get legal issues. You don't want to talk about it. You could have said that when Karen said that shit last season, you guys could have let that shit go and be like, you know what, Karen? Since you said it's legal issues that you and Ray can talk about, we good. But now that the tables have turned, oh, I can't talk about that. That's Michael's business and I can't talk about it. That was the same shit Karen was saying about Ray. That's Ray's business, not Karen's business. Karen and Ray are, yes, they're married, but they are separate entities of each other. So, miss me with the bullshit, Ashley. Like she's quiet as a fucking church mouse. So then just she's like, so when Giselle mentioned, she's like, oh, so we believe that that's facts now. And Giselle's like, well, I don't know what to believe. Like, I would want to believe he didn't do it, but history has proven that he will. And she was like, Ash was like, well, he did that, and that was a friend, and he did that in jest. No, he didn't really know Andrew that well to grab the man's ass. And then at Uncle Um's party, when that guy he was flirting with talking about his chest was rock hard, like, did he know that man? Was that his friend? Like, Ashley is Ashley is so fucking full of shit. So then we see another scene where Ashley is meeting up with a therapist and she's talking about the news with Michael. She's telling the therapist that when it came down to it with the girls, she put on a facade, a front. She don't want them to see her in that state. And she's like, the therapist is like, what did you tell Michael? She says, no, I didn't tell Michael at all. So then through this therapy session, which we already knew, Ashley has daddy issues, and she's placated those daddy issues onto her husband, which is why, that's why when I first saw Ashley, when we first saw her in season 1, and we saw the age difference between she and Michael, I kind of figured, I'm like, Ashley has some daddy issues. I don't know if she's necessarily looking to Michael as a father figure, but she has issues with her father. So that's why she chose the man that she chose, aside from money. That's allegedly, but not allegedly. But we're going to move on. All right, so then we see a scene with Ashley with her no good mama Sheila. So, they talking about Ashley's dad. So Ashley talking about how she knows nothing about her dad. And she's just asking, does he have mental illness? Her mama says, no, he doesn't have a mental illness. And then she asks her, why did they break up? I forgot what Sheila said it. I think Sheila said basically when she got pregnant, he was ready to be a dad, but then after she had Ashley, he didn't want to be a dad. And then Ashley talking about how she remembered this conversation she had with him when she was about 3, and that was the last time she ever talked to him until she reached out to him on Facebook, and she told him, I'm your daughter. I don't really want anything from you. I just want like some acknowledgement from you. And he blocked her. Now, as much as I dislike Ashley, I felt her pain. I understood where she was coming from. And she was telling her mom how, she wants to reach out to her dad. But she wants to, I guess she wants to go to Atlanta to find her dad. But Michael says no. But her mama says, yeah, I agree that you should do that. And like I said, I felt bad for Ashley. I'm like, God damn. Like, I felt bad for Ashley for like the last few episodes. And the reason why I felt bad for Ashley is because I've been in that situation. Now, not with my dad, because I don't even know who my birth dad is. But I've been in that situation with my biological mother. And the situation with my biological mother, I don't know if I've ever said it on the channel. But, and I'm an open book about, everything. So I'm going to talk about it just a little bit. Because, I believe in being open and transparent. So I found out about my birth mother when I was about 13, 14 years old. And, I had, because at this age, I had to okay my adoption by my So my mother who raised me, she was my maternal great aunt. Oh shit, that woman did a number on my cuticles. It's still blood in there. Oh my bad, y'all. So yeah, so my mom sat me down with a good family friend of ours, and she, let me know that I was adopted. I was terrified that she was telling me she was dying because my mom, she was at this time. I think my mother was in her mid 50s. She was like 55, I believe, and she was nervous. She was like, she was a little afraid about how I would react to it. I told her, I was okay because I actually had figured it out because there were some little hints there that she didn't notice she was telling me. She thought somebody outside of my family had told me that I was that I was, wasn't her child. But I said, no, no one told me. She was like, how did you, so she, because I asked her when I was about 10 years old, was I adopted? She said, no. She's like, why do you think that? And the reason why I thought that was because for one, I had asked her, seeing my friends with their parents, their mom and dad, I didn't have my dad, so I'm like, I asked her who my dad was, and I knew that my mom was married, or had been married, and I was like, well, is your husband my daddy? She said no. I'm like, well, who is he? And she's like, I really don't know. She said, I can't tell you she said, I just can't tell you. So that was one thing, and then also my mom's age. After I got older and realized she was an older woman, I'm like, okay, maybe she's not my mom, but I'm like, stranger things could happen, and and then also my last name. Her last name, my last name, and our family's last name are all different. My last name is Barrett. My mom was married, and the last name was Carter. And our family's last name is Staley. So I was like, where does my last name come from? She said, it's a family name. I said, a family name? But what family? And she never told me. So that was when I was starting to put things together at that age. And then also, the big reason why I asked the question was I adopted, and it was just me being curious. Because back in the day when Sister used to come on, you guys will know Tia and Tamara, their characters were raised by Lisa and Ray, who adopted them, and I was like, wow, maybe that's my story. Maybe I'm adopted, and I figured it. I had kind of figured it out, a lot of stuff out. Because I did look like, now with my family, our genes are very strong, so I definitely look like other family members. So I figured it out. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I wonder if, and I thought my uncle might have been my dad, but he wasn't. He's still my uncle. So I'm like, so maybe I'm in my family, but not with my family. So I never told her that, but I always thought maybe I was with my family, just not with my family, which technically I was with my family, just not with my maternal family. So, long story short, I did meet my mom when I was 14, who I thought was my cousin. And, she told me that if I wanted to know who my father was, she would tell me. And I told her, for me at that time, at 14 years old, it was just really too much for me because I had gone 14 years not having any siblings to going from having nobody, no siblings, to three brothers and a sister, and then a mother that I don't know about and a stepfather that I don't know about as well. So I was just overwhelmed at that time. So I told her, I just need some time to, come to grips with my new reality. Because I was fresh in high school. I was a freshman in high school. So I told her I just need to come to grips with this reality first before I even dig deeper into adding another dimension of my life. So I waited until I was 16 years old. I asked her at 16. She gave me a name. I researched the name that she gave me. I couldn't find anything on this guy, so I'm like, this guy must not exist. So then I asked, I let it go, and I waited until I was 18, till I was legal. So I was like, okay, 18, she shouldn't have any, nothing, she shouldn't feel any type of way because I'm an adult at that time. So at that time, she told me to let it go. And I'm like, let it go? No. Why would I do that? So I did let it go. Because I'm like, I'm Gucci. So then at 21, I asked again. She told me she didn't want to tell me that it brought up it brought up bad memories for her. And I'm like, okay. Then why did you give me a name at 16? It makes no sense. So, where am I at? I'm 21. So at 21, I asked again. And then, I've heard stories from other family members where one family member says one thing and it doesn't. So what she told different family members does not add up, because what she told me at one point was that my dad was a drug dealer, that she feared for her and my life, and yeah, she feared for my and her life. And I'm like, but if I'm his, if so, say he's a drug dealer, that's fine. If I'm his son, why would he try to kill me? Like, realistically, why would the man want to kill me if I'm his flesh and blood? Answer me that question. And I answer that. Why would he want to kill his own flesh and blood? Like, I'm a part of him. So why would he want to kill me? Makes no sense. So then I have an aunt. She told me I have an aunt and one of my cousins, my cousins, another one of my cousins' mother. They're good friends with one another. And my aunt said she couldn't tell me nothing, which I knew that. But my cousin's mother, she told me, she's like, well, that's not what your mama told me. She said she told me that she was raped. I'm like, again, okay, and I said again, if that's the case, if she doesn't know, all you have to do is say, I don't know. I'm not, and I've told her that before. I'm like, if you don't know, that's fine. I'm not judging you. I don't judge people. And I had to tell her, this is me at 23 telling her this, because I waited until I was 23 because my grandfather passed away when I was 23. And I was like, since I'm like, you see your dad is in this bed, he's passing away, he's dying of cancer. Wouldn't you want to, like, say, hey, if he's dying, anything can happen? I was trying to make amends with her and just open up to her. But, she didn't want to open up to me. And she told me that time that she would take the identity of my identity of my father with her to her deathbed. And I'm like, you know what? You good. I do not need to know. It's not that, it's not that detrimental to me. And it didn't take me until losing my mom and my grandmother to realize I don't need her, and I don't need my dad, because I had two of the most amazing women to raise me. And I always felt like there was a piece of the puzzle missing. But when my mom and grandmother died, I'm like, there's no puzzle missing. They are the puzzle. I'm complete. I had those two. No one can ever replace them. But to sum up that story, because I forgot about something that happened, I got blocked by her on, so actually she deleted me on Facebook and she blocked me on Facebook. But she just recently unblocked me a few years ago. But she blocked me because on Mother's Day I made a sentimental post towards my mom and my grandmother, and she did not like the post at all that I made toward my grandmother and my mom. So she deleted me and she blocked me. So I definitely understand where Ashley's coming from. I did not mean for this to go so long, but I definitely understand where Ashley was coming from, and it is painful as fuck to deal with somebody like that. And, actually just a few weeks prior, she reached out to me via Facebook because she's now going through something, very traumatic in her life. And I think now that she's going through something very traumatic in her life, which it could be life or death if it's not, maintained. It definitely could be life or death. And I think that she's at the point where she's trying to make amends with me. Have I spoke to her since? No. I might. I don't have anything. I don't have any ill will toward her, so I might reach out to her. But we're gonna move on, you guys. All right, and then lastly we had couples night. So it was Ray and Karen, Chris and Monique, and Chris and Candace. So we found out that Chris and Candace are house hunting because Candace is potentially thinking about having kids. I'm like, little girl, you need to grow the fuck up before you decide to have kids. You really do. So then they talk about, Monique talks about Ashley, how Ashley told her that, since this whole story broke, she feels like things between she and Michael have gotten better. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, Monique says that this whole incident with the cameraman, it happened at the rainbow party in the basement when they were looking for Michael to come out and give his story. I'm like, convenient. And Monique did say something that made a lot of sense. I'm not saying that what the cameraman said is not true, and I'm not saying what, because we do know the charges were dropped. I'm not. It's a gray area. It's something. It's truth somewhere in between what the cameraman's saying and what Michael and Ashley are saying. But because Monique's whole thing is that the cameras are rolling, they're mic'd up, so somebody would have heard something or somebody would have saw something, which that is true. But if they're in the basement, first of all, what the fuck were they doing in the basement? That's my big question. What was Michael doing in the basement, and what was the cameraman? Well, the cameraman was following him, but what did Michael go to her basement for? That's my question. Why did he go to her basement? And I have to agree with what Candace said something in this episode that I absolutely agree with. If Michael and Ashley have an arrangement, it's okay to say that. Nobody's gonna judge you. They're gonna be like, people be like, well, it's a different day and age. People don't believe in traditional marriage. People might want to be married to one another, but they don't believe in the vows. They don't feel like they should just be exclusive to one person. So nobody's gonna judge what you guys have done or do or don't do. Just be open and honest with everybody. But you guys, that was the Real Housewives of Potomac. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later. So Claus will be up later today, which is Monday, when this video is gonna be posted. This video is posted on Monday morning, early Monday morning, and Claus will be posted later Monday evening or afternoon. So until then, you guys, later.